Minisu says she's reflecting. Posts shared by her friends have sparked a wave of sympathy and skepticism. But before we talk about apologies, we need to talk about how we got here. Hi everyone, it's Funnel Pop. If you enjoy deep dive analysis and drama-free speculation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me be clear, Minisu hurt people on this show, and that deserves criticism. What I'm interested in is understanding why, not pretending it didn't happen. Online reactions to Choi Mina-su are brutally divided, and honestly, that alone speaks to how powerful her presence is on Singles Inferno 5. Some viewers admire her beauty, resume, and confidence, while others criticize her as rude, unpredictable, or emotionally reckless, often blaming both her behavior and reality show editing. The debate isn't mild, it's intense. But one thing is undeniable, Minisu is the most irreplaceable figure this season. She's a high achiever in every sense of the word. Whether it was her short but memorable drama appearance, her international beauty pageant win, or now commanding attention in a dating reality show, she has always drawn eyes toward her.
Initially, considering it being a pageant, I did most of my activities in Southeast Asia, but after going back to Korea, I was like, what can I do? Because this is a legacy, and in a way, if you're crowned as a queen or you get selected from a competition, you have a sense of responsibility to carry on a legacy and a responsibility. Yes. So, after my reign, I was actually struggling so much, so I started reaching out to different, sectors and organizations that I previously worked with from Miss Earth, and I was like, hey, can I do something with you guys? I want to use my platform. I don't know what to do about it. Can we do something together? So that's how I actually worked with some of the most renowned professors. Indonesia and Philippines and Thailand, they're known for these plants.
Her background helps explain that confidence. Born in Sydney and raised across multiple countries including Canada, the US, and China, Minisu grew up immersed in different cultures, which shaped her flexible mindset and broad worldview. She later graduated from the University of Illinois with a degree in communications, originally dreaming of becoming an OB/GYN, before choosing a path that would allow her to better understand people and the world around her. She has also been open about her privileged upbringing, even revealing her family's luxurious Hanam-dong home on a variety show, and describing herself as somewhere between a silver spoon and a gold spoon. What stands out is that she doesn't deny that support, yet consistently emphasizes her desire to become financially and emotionally independent. She doesn't want to rely solely on her background, she wants to carve out her own path. So now that we understand who Minisu is beyond the edits, the real question isn't whether she messed up. It's whether she can escape the villain narrative before the finale. Personally, I like Minisu. But liking her doesn't mean excusing everything she did. Her biggest issue is restraint. Minisu is extremely open. And overly honest people often come across as rude, because they don't know when to stop, or when to read the room. She doesn't filter her emotional stream, she broadcasts it. That's why she feels refreshing to some and unbearable to others. The bonfire truth game is the perfect example. For me, that scene was iconic. She wasn't calculating or plotting. She was excited, impulsive, and riding the moment, behaving and saying whatever came to her mind. That rawness made great TV. But I also understand why the world exploded over it. She didn't just shake love lines, she destabilized everyone around her without fully acknowledging the emotional fallout in real time. One thing I think gets misunderstood about Minisu is her playful nature. During the grab the flag game, when Hyunwoo ran along the edges of the pond instead of through it, doing something unconventional to grab the flag, Minisu jumped up in pure excitement. Not because she wanted attention, not because she was trying to perform, but because that's genuinely who she is. She reacts big. She lives in the moment. We saw this again during the men's final game, where she cheered for the guys equally, sometimes excited, sometimes visibly scared for them. And again during the double date at the bowling alley, when she walked in practically bouncing with excitement. Minisu wears her heart on her sleeve. What some people read as weird or attention-seeking is often just her being emotionally expressive. That doesn't make her calculated. It makes her transparent. That said, the moment that bothered me most was when she cried to Sung-hoon and brought up lending clothes to the other girls. That didn't sit right with me. Not because lending clothes is bad, and not because she was lying, but because that was a private social exchange. Borrowing clothes among women is usually a bonding gesture, not something meant to be used publicly as emotional leverage. Minisu likely saw it as friendship, so when those same girls reacted coldly toward her later, it hurt her deeply. But saying, "I lent them my clothes," in that moment came off as transactional, even if she didn't intend it that way. Giving someone something doesn't erase their right to feel upset with you. That said, context still matters. She was emotional, she was sick, and according to her, she fainted and needed IV fluids. When someone is physically unwell and emotionally isolated, their words don't come out clean. Hurt people don't always speak gracefully. This doesn't excuse the moment, but it does explain it. And that's why online reactions are so divided. Some viewers saw her comment as social shaming, a breach of trust, or performative generosity, used to make herself look good, and others look ungrateful. Others argued she never named names, wasn't trying to embarrass anyone, and was speaking from pain, not calculation. To them, the backlash felt disproportionate. Many critics agree this wasn't the worst issue. What bothered viewers more were her emotional patterns, wanting freedom for herself while also craving reassurance from others, struggling when the person she liked explored other connections, needing emotional validation, and at times coming across as overly confident or self-assured. Many viewers interpreted this as her wanting to explore while not wanting others to do the same. But I didn't read it that way. Minisu never actually condemned exploration. She gave the men she was interested in space to explore, even when it made her visibly jealous. What we're seeing isn't control or manipulation, it's insecurity and an attempt to secure her connections. And honestly, that's very normal, especially in a dating show built around competition, limited time, and emotional pressure. After the backlash peaked, a friend of Minisu posted a photo of her crouched in a corner, head down, with the caption, "I'm reflecting." Another post showed Minisu watching her own scenes on TV, accompanied by a caption written by her close friend that essentially said, "As someone close to her, after watching episode 1 to 4, my reaction was, what were you thinking? What was on your mind while you were on the show?" That detail is important. It wasn't framed as a defense, and it wasn't polished PR. It was a candid, almost uncomfortable question coming from someone who knows her personally. While it still wasn't a direct apology from Minisu herself, it confirmed something important: she wasn't brushing the criticism off. She was being confronted with her own behavior, even by the people closest to her, and actively reflecting on how it came across. She wasn't unbothered or detached. The image cracked the villain persona and revealed someone genuinely overwhelmed by how her actions were being received. What adds another layer here is that this wasn't the only message coming from her inner circle. Around the same time, other posts from friends surfaced showing a very different side of Minisu, not as a controversial dating show figure, but as a deeply supportive friend. These captions talked about her showing up when they were at their lowest, traveling together to cheer each other up, celebrating graduations with flowers, sitting with friends after rejections, and being someone who listens, empathizes, and gives her whole heart to the people close to her. In another part of one of the posts, her friend wrote something really telling. She said, "The more you get to know her, the better she is as a person," and then, she asked viewers to please continue supporting Minisu until the final episode. Not defending her actions. Just asking people not to lock in their judgment yet. These weren't defensive posts. They weren't denying her mistakes. They were simply reminders that the version of Minisu seen in a high-pressure dating format isn't the full picture of who she is in real life. Timing matters here too. After episodes 8 through 10 aired, viewers also saw Minisu apologize directly to Soobin on the show, and notably, Soobin apologized to her as well. That moment felt significant because it showed mutual accountability rather than a one-sided narrative. While Minisu did hurt Soobin emotionally through inconsistency, Soobin also embarrassed her in several moments by shutting her down publicly when she attempted to flirt. Those rejections were not gentle, they were blunt, and at times, humiliating. Yet Minisu rarely reacted with resentment in the moment, which suggests she didn't fully process the emotional impact until much later. Placing them together, the on-screen apology and the off-screen reflection paint a more complete picture. Not of someone pretending nothing happened, but of someone who reacts emotionally in the moment and only later sits with the consequences. That doesn't erase the hurt she caused, but it does complicate the idea that she was acting without conscience, care, or self-awareness. The apology on the show, followed by visible reflection off the show, suggests not someone doubling down on being misunderstood, but someone slowly realizing how deeply her actions affected others. So nope, I won't condemn her entirely, and I won't excuse her either. This is a dating show, and she was expected to explore multiple connections within a very short period of time. How she went about it was messy, yes, but exploration itself shouldn't be causing this level of outrage, and she shouldn't be getting hate simply for doing what the show is designed for. Where contestants usually protect their image is by managing information quietly and selectively. Minisu didn't do that. She was too honest, too open, and too immediate with her emotions, and that's ultimately why viewers turned on her. What she needs isn't to change who she is, but to become more aware of how her actions land and how deeply they can affect other people's emotions, while still being her naturally joyful, expressive self. If Minisu continues to show growth, accountability, and emotional awareness in the remaining episodes, the villain narrative can absolutely crack. And even if it doesn't, she'll still go down as one of the most unforgettable figures this show has ever had. Honestly, that alone says everything.
You got you can lie this whole time. I haven't seen it in a while since she brought you down. You said you're fine, I know you better than that. Hey, what you doing?